Hey everybody, welcome back to Rob Has a Podcast for a special live edition of our Amazing Race Deep Dive. Of course, we got the whole Amazing Race panel back here with us. Jess and Mike are here with us to talk to the winners of the Amazing Race 34, Claire and Derek. How are you?
Good. I'm excited to finally talk to you guys with my full voice.
Yeah, Grandpa, kicked him off.
Yeah.
You just use that $1 million to just de-age yourself. We know what you're doing with that money.
yeah. I definitely immediately got hair plugs.
Botox. You got your vocal cords replaced.
I was like, can I get some younger vocal cords in here?
Yeah.
Put extra bass, lower the tenor a little bit. I want to be more soothing.
Yes. Okay. Well, it shows.
I just showed an audio clip of Rob, and I was like, hey, can we just match this? Like,
Yeah, that's what you asked for in your vocal cord replacement. Wow.
Yeah. And they said that's not what you want. They said we can do better than that.
Yeah, you can do better. You can do better. Anyway, so nice to have you back here with us. We're live. We can take questions from the audience here live. Just post your questions in the chat. We can flag them, and as we go through different things, we can bring them up on the screen. I know it's been a whirlwind for the both of you here since we last spoke on Thursday. But how has the last couple days as the reigning Amazing Race winners been?
Let's see. So we talked on Thursday, and we stayed in Miami until Friday. No,
Saturday. We left Saturday.
Wow. So we were kind of like the last pack to leave. By the end, it was just kind of like, we should just go home now.
Yeah, we should leave. It's
I was like, I feel like Louis and Michelle are slowly trying to start their regular life again, and we're just impeding on them.
Yeah.
She like passively aggressively contacted us like, yeah, I think I'm gonna do a little bit of work today, and I was like, okay, cool. So we're not going immediately to the bar at 8 a.m.
Right. Yeah, but they didn't have as much to celebrate as you did.
No, I feel like we all had a lot to celebrate.
Louis and Michelle, they find a lot to celebrate. You know, anytime you're with friends, it's a cause for celebration.
Yeah. They would celebrate just the sun rising again.
Yeah, a new hour, you know.
I'm like, wow, 5?
Wow!
Was this the first time that all the teams, or I guess it was most of the teams, had gone together? Had you all seen each other since you ended up, finishing things up in Nashville 6 months ago?
Not all of us.
Yeah,
together.
We'd seen Louis and Michelle once. We'd seen Moose from Big Brother Canada is staying with us. So.
Wow.
A true cameo.
I forgot that he was coming
International icons.
I was like, wait, are we about to get robbed on like a live interview? Okay, we're
sorry.
Good. Moose. It was a 3-for-1 special.
Yeah. We'd seen some teams, and some teams are in LA, and so we'd seen them a good amount as the season was airing. But there were a lot of teams we hadn't seen since Nashville.
I hadn't seen Michael and Marcus since Nashville. I'd seen Louis and Michelle. We went down to Miami once.
And then we'd only seen
Maddie and Quentin.
Yeah, we hadn't seen them. David Aubrey.
No, we see them. Okay,
Nina Asta and Dom and Rich we've seen.
Yeah.
Sets. Right. I mean, all the West Coast teams, I'm imagining y'all are.
Yeah.
Do you maybe this is getting a little too personal? I know that some groups like to do like the big, private group threat. And it's so interesting comparing like your journey to season 32, right? Where they were like sitting on that for a year plus. You obviously had a quicker turnaround time, but like, are you still close in contact with everybody?
Yeah. The whole group chat is still alive.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a WhatsApp that's pretty active.
Yeah. Having done a couple of these shows, I know that's not always the case.
Oh, okay.
The entire group chat and everyone's still in there.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's left.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Man, that's the best when you wake up and you just check the group chat and you're like, oh, this person just left.
Oh, okay.
You're like, whoa, this person. I was like, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Have you had any contact with the Amazing Race Season 33 winners, Kim and Penn? Because we felt like that you had kind of a similar trajectory that they had.
Yeah, that's interesting. Me and Claire obviously listened to your guys' podcast about the race. I'll say, never mind. Let me rephrase that. Claire obviously listens to it. I listen to it. I wouldn't say it's obvious.
You listen. Yeah. You really listen to it when I listen to it.
Yeah. I'd hear my name. I'm like, turn that up.
I'm like, Derek, here's what they said about you. It's funny. And he's like, good one.
That's all the reviews I ever need. I can die happy now. The Derek.
He's leaving 5-star reviews. He's like, more Derek jokes, please.
Yeah, BRB. I'm updating my Twitter bio now.
Yeah.
By the way, Lewis and Michelle say that the group chat is strong.
Celebrate.
Wow.
But I think where you're going with that podcast talk is that like the week leading up to the race, we would listen to Kim and Penn's podcast on like every run we went on. So they were like very central to our prep of the race.
Yeah, they really were.
And then since the race has been going, they've been so sweet to everyone. And like they had a group chat with all us in the final 3. And like they are awesome. I really want to meet them and run into them. Like they're such a great couple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we listened to the podcast. Like we listened to an episode basically every day, and then we started tearing through literally anything we could find about the Amazing Race. We like watched or listened to. Well,
I want to give a plug to that you two have been like Kim and Penn were doing, that you two have chronicled your Amazing Race adventure. If people for whatever reason didn't catch that during the season, could you talk a little bit about what you two were able to do?
Yeah, appreciate the shout out, Rob. So we listened to Kim and Penn's podcast, and we were trying to find other information about the race, but there like was not a lot at all. At one point, I was looking up like Amazing Race Australia, packing videos, things like that. So before me and Claire even went on the race, we were talking about like no matter what happens, we want to make a recap of every leg.
And I was a little hesitant until I think we had a leg where we got into a big fight, and it didn't air. But afterwards, we were in the hotel room, and I was like, yeah, we do have to make a recap video because I want to be able to tell my side of the argument on the recap. So we have to do it for sure.
Claire's like, I need people to tell me why I was right.
Now, be real though. If you did not win, what are the chances you would have actually gone through with
0%. 0%.
I think we would have. I do think we would have.
I think we got
depends how far we went.
If we got like a final 6, I think I would have. Yeah, final 6 definitely.
Yeah.
So we have made a recap video about every single leg of the race, giving our own perspective on it. And I think what we try to do is like share some of the like funnier, like unaired stories that happen between the challenges or during a challenge. And then not so much kind of like the explicit, this is what the challenge was and like how we tackled it.
Yeah. Like I think if you couldn't, like, I think sometimes I miss an episode of a show and I'll just listen to a recap, right? You can't do that for us. We do not talk about a single other team.
No.
Really.
Oh yeah.
We just talk about us.
When it comes to like watching this entire experience back, what has that been like for you? Because Big Brother, obviously, like you participated live, you could watch the season back, but you're not exactly getting to see people react to you racing with you knowing what's going to happen, and especially it being filtered through an edit. So like, what have the past few months been for you?
I mean, I guess I had a little bit of experience with the challenge, so like maybe you want to answer.
Yeah, it was definitely like it was different. I think at the beginning, I cared and I was looking like, oh, what are people saying? What are the thoughts? But then really I try to lessen that as the season went. I was like, well, this actually isn't productive at all.
You didn't try very hard.
Well,
so we're on West Coast right now.
This is fair. Yeah, go on.
So
please.
we watch West Coast time, which is 3 hours after East Coast. And I just like wait to like watch it with my friends and we do it all together. And I like that aspect of we're experiencing it live.
Yeah.
Claire would have anxiety about the episode. So she would like bootleg a stream of the East Coast and watch it by herself in a corner 3 hours before everyone, just to mentally prepare herself for the things that were going to happen. And then we show up to the watch party and then Claire would just watch it again and pretend like she hadn't seen it.
I'd be like, wow, great. They're going to include that. Like, that's so funny.
That's so good. And the parts that she doesn't like, she's like, fast forward.
I'm like, so what were you saying? Like,
you guys were going to get appetizers? Was there talk about?
Yeah, exactly. So it is stressful. Like Big Brother, neither of us have watched back Big Brother.
I watched a little bit of it. I was watching back Big Brother and then I was just like, you know what? I remember this. Like, I don't need to watch it. I was like, wait, why am I even watching this? Like, yeah, that's exactly what happened. Yes, that person won the challenge. Yep, that's what I saw. So I was like, I don't need to watch this.
Yeah, the communal aspect is really what makes it.
Yeah, for sure.
Can you two talk a little bit about how you were approached about going onto the Amazing Race together? As being a couple coming out of Big Brother and then ultimately landing on the Amazing Race?
Yeah, so I mean, you guys all know we started dating like kind of in jury, but like basically as soon as Big Brother ended, we started dating. And then pretty soon after that, like weeks, like a month or something.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so I remember in December we got that text. There's something before that though.
Yes,
it was like,
I think it was loosely floated. I think casting wasn't really 100% sure how serious we were. They were kind of like,
did they see the pictures? It was pretty serious after the pictures.
I was like, exactly. I was in there. Like, I was like, it doesn't get closer than that, really. It was never like, would you be interested in the race? It was, if you're together, would you be interested in the race? So it was constantly them asking us, are you still together? I think for 6 months in a row, every month we get up, are you still together? Are you still together? Are you still together?
I mean, honestly, that has not stopped them from putting people on the race before. I'm surprised they didn't say, are you still together, or would you be willing to pretend you are still together?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe like the prior season might have encouraged them. Like, okay, let's try to have someone that'll make it all the way through.
Yeah. Jess, I'm thinking about the same team that you are. 100%. Me and Claire watched that season, and we were like, literally, no matter what happens, this just can't be us.
Well, I guess speaking of that, outside of those circumstances, when you came into this season, how much did the production make it aware, like, okay, it's the exact same thing as, season 33 with the post-COVID restrictions? And did that make you like hyper-focused on season 33 in your preparations?
No. We had no idea. No, they did not give us a heads up that this was going to be chartered flights. So me and Claire prepped like this was going to be a regular race. So a lot of the things that we try to optimize for, like, for instance, packing our bag. Yeah. We had to make sure dimensions were within like a carry-on size. So that was something we really like worried about. We worried about like weight and like extra things like that. But a lot of that washed out because with a chartered flight, you can have any size bag that you want. Yeah. We didn't have to worry about taxis, which is a big concern. We had like done a lot of prep with taxis and like learning in different languages, how to like ask for directions and say right and left. Like how to say left in Arabic. Well, now I don't know. Okay. There was the short-term memory.
You're cramming. Yeah.
It was so short, didn't make it onto the race.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's probably fair. It didn't make it to Jordan, definitely.
No, 100%. You know what's crazy? So just speaking about Jordan, one of the things that I wanted to do in prep for the race was learn Arabic, because I was like, this is the most common language in the world.
And you know Mandarin already.
And I already know Mandarin. So I was like, look, if I can learn Arabic, Claire, if we travel to like 70% of the earth, I'm good. Like,
yeah, well, then watch you get to like the third letter, like you have to roll your R's. Never mind.
Yeah,
okay,
I can't do it.
So again, I'm just gonna blame Claire for my missteps.
Yeah, please.
So I was like, Claire, I'm gonna get Duolingo. I'm gonna learn Arabic, and I was like 2 days into the Duolingo, and then Claire comes over and she's like, Derek, why are you wasting your time right now learning?
I'm like, Derek,
Arabic?
What can you say? Like, have you learned like the basics? And he's like, no. I'm learning how to read Arabic first. And I'm like, what? Why are you learning the alphabet? Like, you're not going to have to write a letter in Arabic. Like, you're not going to be reading the stop signs.
You know what? It made sense. I was like, you know what, Claire? You're right. Why am I going to need to know how to say olive?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, let me just learn Spanish. So I stopped learning Arabic. But just from those 2 days of trying to learn Arabic, I recently got like a Duolingo Wrapped email that tells you what percentile you are for like learning the languages. I was in the 88th percentile just by doing 2 classes. Wow.
Yeah.
Apparently no one's out here trying to learn Arabic. If you just, I think if you did like a week, you'd be 99th. You might be.
I think they saw you on The Amazing Race and gave you a bit of extra credit. They're like, okay, he
Yeah.
actually read Arabic on national television.
That counts.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think that might have bumped me down a couple notches. I had people DMing me afterwards. They're like, "This was a disgrace to my Arabic language. Like, I actually really liked you coming off of Big Brother.
You butchered it. You've humiliated our culture."
Wow.
Yeah. I don't think really.
I think the R doesn't actually need to be rolled that hard. It's just like a
Yeah.
Like a throat sound.
It's just like it's casual, you know, just just say it. Like it's you don't make a big endeavor about it.
Yeah.
I was just being dramatic.
Play cool.
I think
Of course.
me being so dramatic about not being able to roll my R's turned on production. They were like, zoom in on this.
Yeah.
We're keeping make him roll the R's.
Do it.
Like, hold on a second.
Derek, was that really a thing for you that you really had this like childhood?
Yeah, you wished every birthday.
Every birthday you spent trying to roll
right.
your R.
Look, I'm not blowing out my candles and then rolling an R. Like, it is something I would do annual. Like it's not something I would do annually with the idea of like, okay, on this day, I am now going to attempt my annual rite of rolling my R. It was more like, all right, 7th grade's coming around. I would like to switch back into Spanish. Let me see if I can roll my R. Still can't roll my R. 8th grade comes around, like,
sure.
Okay, let me see.
So like when you were in school.
Yeah, like when I'm in school. I don't do this now.
Yeah, you were really making it sound like this is something you practiced last year.
No. And I remember as I was filming that interview and I was saying the words, I was like, why am I saying this?
Yeah.
I just thought
I'm
maybe
describing this in the worst possible way.
You two are such like savvy reality TV veterans. Like that I was wondering if it's maybe like a veteran reality TV move of like, this is how you get the screen time. Whatever comes up. This is my fear. This is my worst thing. Because it happened with the bicycle.
Right. It seemed like every leg there was something where Claire's like, I grew up near Virginia Beach. Like it seemed like you all had a Slumdog Millionaire moment. Like every leg based on a childhood memory.
I think I just experienced very extreme emotions. I wish I could say I wasn't that scared of bikes. I genuinely am that scared of bikes. I remember me and my friend traveled to Thailand together, and then we set up like this like biking tour, or it wasn't a biking tour. It was like a cruise, and I didn't know there's gonna be bikes there, but we cruised through this island. We show up, and they added on a biking tour for us. And I remember I was biking down this like road. It was my first time being back on a bike since my accident. And it was in that moment that I realized I had PTSD. I was like, wait, I'm really scared right now. And we're going like 5 miles an hour. So you guys should feel bad about making fun of me. Moral of the story.
No.
All right.
So
Moral of the
one star
story.
comment now.
We stand corrected.
I'm intrigued in like a different world where each of you, instead of going on the race with each other, would have gone on the race with another Big Brother 23 cast member. Who would you pick?
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
I know my answer.
I know your answer too.
Who would you pick?
I don't know. I mean, I might pick who you pick. Am I trying to win? I'm trying to win. Right?
All right, both write your answers down on a card and then reveal it at the same
Put it on your head.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, you definitely know who I would pick.
I
feel
want to
like
pick that person.
Yeah.
Big D.
Yeah.
Frenchie.
He's probably watched the most Amazing Race out of everyone.
Hey, Travis, how quickly can you get to California?
Yes. Derek X loves Travis.
Yeah, of course.
If I was going for the win,
Yeah.
not even if I wasn't going for the win, I would bring Kylan.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For sure.
I think Kylan guaranteed final 6.
Yeah. I guess I would probably bring, because I also really have to live with them for a long time.
Yeah.
So I would probably, I feel like me and Chada probably have similar skills though.
You know who would be like a dark horse?
Christian.
Yes, but even darker? Sarah Beth.
X.
Sarah Beth.
Sarah Beth could
Oh.
be good, actually. She would be good.
Yeah, like I
She'd
think
be great at the yodeling challenge.
You would.
she balances you out with
Yeah.
like the creative aspects,
Mhm.
but she's also very strategic.
Yeah.
She's fun. I think she's like easy to hang out with.
Mhm.
I'm gonna stop saying good things about Sarah Beth, but
Mhm.
you could. Right. You know, it'd be great if I brought Sarah Beth.
Yeah, that would be
I
good.
would-
You guys Yeah, I don't know if you guys could do a month in a hotel room though.
No, we easily could.
That's true. We all did Big Brother. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Okay. Well, we want to take a look back at your victorious game. And so we thought it would make some sense to go through it and go stop by stop and hear any of your stories that you want to share with us. So, yeah, things all got started back in the first week where you all were doing the scramble in Germany. Did you have any thoughts about this crazy way to kick off the Amazing Race 34?
Well, I remember, first off, we're super nervous. Everyone, when you start a season, is thinking the same thing. Just don't be first out. And the Amazing Race was the first show I've been on where your fate is almost like fully in your hands, like maybe like 98% or something, especially our season without taxis. All of it is your own self-driving. So I remember being very nervous because I was like, dang, if we go out first, we're just really a bad team.
No.
Well, no, that's not. I guess that's not.
Yeah,
true.
Nina and Asta weren't like a bad team.
I guess they're not a bad team.
No.
But I didn't want to go out first.
Yeah, it would stink. It would really stink.
I was very nervous.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we were trying to strategize from the very get. Even when Phil was like still describing the race to us, he was talking about like, there's not going to be any U-turns. There's not going to be all this stuff.
Yeah,
I zoned him out. I wasn't even listening anymore. I was just trying to like figure out, okay, where are the backpacks? So I was looking behind us. And
where are the cars?
At this point, I didn't realize we were just going to be given maps.
Yeah, I remember
So I was telling Claire, like, Claire, there's a tourist store right there.
Yeah,
like,
should we just run? Let's get the clue and then let's go in there and let's buy a map.
So
like,
me and Claire are whispering while Phil's talking. Like all the teams are just listening to him and we're just whispering to each other. And I was like, okay, like if we have like more than like 40 euros, let's like allocate like half of that to buying this map. And she was like, okay, but like what about like the time cost of trying to run to the store? And we were trying to figure all of this out. Phil yells go, and all the teams just yell to the backpacks. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's just follow the team.
Let's just go get the backpacks.
Forget everything we just talked about. Let's just follow everyone else.
Yeah.
And then it's like you can do all of this prep, but then when Phil says go, it's like, all right, all of that's gone.
Yeah.
You just forget about all of it.
Yeah, you're just like, okay, gotta go. Don't want to be left behind.
You're just like in the moment.
Let's just figure it out.
Were there any distinct first impressions you remember of the other teams?
Yeah, I was trying. I mean, just coming off of Big Brother, obviously we were trying to think about alliances.
Yes. I remember we really thought Nina and Asta
or date.
No, well, yes, but that they were going to like. I was like, they have one backpack. They seem smart. They seem like they know the race. I was like, they're gonna go deep. They're going deep.
Yeah. I think they just got taken out in a very unfortunate way where it's like just a purely physical challenge. And you can't like plan around that. It's just, do you have the muscle strength to pull this saw? So it's hard.
Yeah.
I know that you both are still friendly with them. I love them on the race. I wish they could have stayed on longer. I thought that their exit interview that they did was so fun. I was crying the whole time that I was talking about them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Asta's like really, she's trying to pursue a career in comedy. She's really funny.
They're funny.
Yeah. When they were like chopping the wood, I don't know if it even aired, but she made a joke. She was like, this is the last time, I can't remember the last time I saw wood or like touched the wood.
They were making a lot of wood jokes.
And they didn't make the show?
We're last.
Yeah. We had first impression about every team. Glenda Lumumba.
We thought they were going to do really well.
And they ended up doing pretty well.
Yeah.
But Claire had like a girl crush on Glenda just because she was tall.
She's so tall. She's taller than me. It's very rare for me to meet women taller than me. And so when I do, I'm like, a sisterhood.
I saw Rich from like Rich and Dom. First time ever seeing like an East Asian male on the same show as me. So immediately I was like, oh my God, like me and this guy are going to be best friends. I remember I saw him before the show started. We're all in this conference room and we all leave. I go back to my room with Claire and I told Claire, I was like, me and that Asian dude, we're going to be like this. I'm telling you right now, me and him are going to run this race together. And like, I'm sorry, like you just have to get on board this. Like I'm ride or die for him. Didn't talk to him a single time.
Yeah, I was going to say, romances.
Never talked.
Did not talk to him a single time on the race.
No. I don't think you talked until like we were in LA. Like I don't even know if you talked to the finale.
No. It was the biggest discrepancy between like what I thought was gonna happen and what actually happened. Now Lewis though, Lewis have like it was really love at first sight. Me and Claire get dropped off at the hotel. This is before the show starts. We get dropped off at the hotel, and when I open up the door, I look up and I see Lewis and Michelle in the window of their hotel room, and I look up at them, and Lewis is like, like, this is crazy. I can't hear him, obviously, but he's like screaming.
No, Lewis was like serious.
No, this is before that, though.
Oh, okay.
He was like serious before, but once we actually opened the door and walked out, he started like laughing and like screaming. So I was really excited about this. So I'm like, yeah, let's go. And I think I threw him up a heart, or I made like a call me.
You said, call me.
Yeah, call me. Final 2. And then
what am I? I'm right here.
I was like, it can just be me and you.
Partner swap.
And then that was like our first impression. And I was like, I really like that guy. He's a lot of fun. And he ended up being a lot of fun. I was like, this guy really is.
You called it.
Second impression, exactly what I thought. Yeah. So that was someone that I thought I was going to like, and I did really work with.
Yeah.
Aubrey and David were
they were
alternate team, so we didn't get much of an impression off of them.
Abby and Will, I was convinced were secret Stanford professional athletes.
Yeah,
like I was like, they're both so tall and like athletic, and I was like, you can't trick me. You're lying about your profession. I know this. I know how this works. Like,
did you recognize Rex Ryan?
No, we didn't no idea.
Who out of us do you think would know Rex Ryan here?
Yeah, I had no idea.
I just saw a man with the whitest veneers I've ever seen in my entire life, and I was like, he's probably famous. Something's going on here.
Well, we overheard another team like say something like blah 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 coaches blah blah blah, and they were pointing at like Rex Ryan. So we thought both of them, like Tim and Rex, were like coaches together, or like one's a coach, one's an assistant coach. But I thought it was just like like a high school JV team. And I was like, okay, cool. Like this dude's like a JV football coach. I honestly didn't even realize it on the race. It wasn't until I got back and I was telling someone in Claire's family, like they asked us who else was on the race. And I was listing off people in the order of fame that I perceived them as. So I was like, we have a backup dancer for Pitbull. I was like, us. I was like, there's us. Aubrey owns like the largest dance studio in LA. I got to the bottom of the freaking, I was like, there's like a fighter jet pilot. I got to the bottom of the list and I was like, yeah. And there's like this football coach, Rex, and his partner. He's like, Rex Ryan. I was like, yeah, Rex Ryan. He's like, he's on ESPN every day. I was like,
wow.
I was like, it must be a really good varsity team. I was like, wow, that's impressive. Good for Rex.
What about the perceptions of the two of you from the other teams? Claire, you had said the other day that it was actually Tim, Rex's partner, who spotted you as a he's a big brother fan. Huge. But what was Phil just sort of like saying to everyone, here's dating couple Claire and Derek, and then they were just going through a facade?
No, Phil, I think said, and maybe some of you recognize them. Here's Derek and Claire.
That actually is verbatim what he said at the start line. Me and Claire are like,
was like, Rex Ryan?
I was like, I know that dude. So immediately our spot was blown.
Yeah.
So we like had to tell everyone.
Yeah, we didn't really tell production like, oh, we're gonna try to keep it a secret. Like that wasn't part of our casting going through it. But a few people had seen it. Marcus had watched Big Brother.
Oh.
And then Quentin was potentially going to be on our season of Big Brother. No, he was like kind of going through casting for that. And so he had been kind of told to watch our season. So he had seen it as well.
And Tim was just like a super fan.
Yeah, Tim knew everything. Like Tim like watches live feeds. He was like deep diving with us.
Tim couldn't wait. He was like, so you really didn't know about the cookout? He's like, really, man? Like he couldn't wait to ask us questions.
What was your dynamic like with Phil? Because we've talked with Phil. We've had the pleasure, and he's so dry, and I feel like that gets along so well with like your sense of humor.
Get him on the show. Get Phil on the show. I would also like to ask him what was our relationship.
Yeah. I think Phil, every time we were on the map, would always be like, the team that wins the first leg normally does very well. Like normally they go to the end. Like he was really telling us this and we're like, okay, like I hope, like maybe.
I could never get a read off of him.
Like we were trying to do jokes. I don't know if he was really
he is very dry actually. Now that I'm like assessing it, my immediate thought of him wasn't that he was dry, but now I'm thinking about it. Yes, I do think he has like a very dry personality. Or not, that sounds bad. Dry sense of humor. Dry sense of humor.
So
very dry sense of humor.
I think you both won him over, but I do think that Phil tends to go in a little skeptical about like the reality TV team that comes in.
Sure.
Oh yeah. Well, Claire, you mentioned this in my interview that I did with you, right? He did this preseason interview with me, and he's like, Derek and Claire, they think they're too big for their britches because they're reality TV people. We come in first place in the first leg.
Yeah, after that, there's a story about how I messed up after the first leg that like led to that perception of us. And if I was Phil, I would have thought the same thing.
Yeah, I understand why he thought that for sure.
Totally. But yeah, I enjoy making people laugh. And I remember like sometimes between legs, I try to like crack a joke with Phil and like the brief time that we have with him. I just can never get a smile out of him. Couldn't read him. And I see him over with like Molly and Emily's like, I'm just like,
please laugh at us.
I was like, just a crumb, Phil. Just a crumb.
A nice smile, just a smirk.
Yeah.
We love it.
Or even just the eyebrow.
Yeah.
Please, the eyebrow.
If you all are supplying the jokes, then I feel like then maybe he's gonna be like, oh, I'm not giving it to you. Whereas like Emily and Molly are like not doing jokes, and so like he has to like give like a bigger reaction to what they're saying.
No, like halfway into the race, I wasn't even trying to get first place for myself. I just wanted Phil to be proud of me. Like, please, Phil,
please be happy.
Please tell me how I can spend my Expedia points.
Well, on that note, when you come in first place, because the thing with the scramble, right, was like nobody knows where they're at. We didn't know where you all were at. How surprised were you when you ended up checking in first place?
Well, there is a story here on the first leg that Derek should probably tell.
Okay, is this about how you were driving?
Yes, about why my one-time driving was on the first leg.
I kind of forgot about this. Yeah,
I should not have been driving.
So we finished the last challenge of the first leg, and it's the Smash Challenge.
We're in the beer garden.
We're in the beer garden. When I got the clue for this, there was like 4, maybe 5 clues left in the box. And I knew this was our last challenge. So when me and Claire finished, I was like, oh, Claire, we're definitely not in last. That means at least 4 or 5 teams are behind us. Earlier that day, we had saw Michael and Marcus leave roll when we were getting there. So I was like, okay, Michael and Marcus are probably in first.
They're done. They're probably done.
I'd say like, if I had to guess, maybe we're like 4th, 5th right now, but we're solidly middle of the pack. Definitely not last. Definitely not first. So I'm happy. I'm like, all right, cool. We're not going to get eliminated this leg. This is awesome. We're running out of the beer garden, and there's this like guy watching us, and he's super happy for us. And he's like raising up his stein of beer, like cheering for us, like, woo, let's go, guys. He's with his group of friends. And as I'm running past him, I have the thought of like, yeah, it'd be cool if I chugged his beer. Like, this would be cool. Like, I wonder if he would give it to me. Like, it is Germany. So I stopped. And
emphasis on the germ.
Yeah,
there's a pandemic on, dude.
I know.
We were very scared.
Yeah, you could have gotten that video call from Phil in leg 2.
I know. After
was that a violation of the race protocol for COVID?
Yes. We really got talked to afterwards.
Don't worry. We were severely reprimanded for this. Yes. And I was like, man, if I go back, I would drink 2 of them. I knew I was going to get punished this hard. So I literally, okay, this is me just having been on reality TV a lot. I get on one knee, I raise up the stein, I chug it down, I hand it back to him, and I go run back to our car, and our camera guy stops me, and he's like, dude, you can't drive. You just chugged a whole beer.
On TV, like what?
I was like, no. I was like, I'm not. I was like, it wasn't a whole beer. It was like 2 ounces. It literally was just backwashed. I wish I didn't do it. It wasn't worth it. No flavor in there. It was just foam. He's like, no. He's like, you're drunk. He's like, it doesn't matter. You drank. You're drunk. You can't drive. Claire has to drive. I'm like, oh my God. And Claire is like a very
I can do it.
Scared driver. She's not a bad driver. She's a scared driver.
Yes.
Yeah.
I lived in New York for like 4 years. Didn't have a car in college.
Yeah,
like, I have a license, but like, should I? I don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
lots of like trepidation. So I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. All right, Claire, you have to drive. So we get back to the car. I open up the map to like direct us to the next place. And this is my first time seeing the map all day. And Claire had been complaining the entire day, like, oh, I can't see the city names. Like, these text is so small. I don't know if it's like a left or right. I was like, Claire, how do you not know? Like, just look at the map. I literally take one look at this map. I'm like, oh, ooh, maybe I am drunk. Like, damn, I cannot read any of this. I was like, what? Prince of Ringo? I don't know any of this. So Claire like comes back and she's like, okay, this is where we are. This is where we need to go. Like highlights the route. She's like, this is the route we need to take. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm directing her now. We're driving to the pit stop. When we show up to the pit stop, there's no one there.
When we show up to parking.
Oh, sorry. We show up to parking and you can see the marked parking. There's not a single car there. I was like, holy crap. Wait, Claire, we're in first.
This is it. We're in first.
Oh my God. I think we're in first place right now. And then
we were shocked.
This like completely threw us off.
Yeah.
All the nerves came back. We did not know how to act anymore. I was like, a bag.
Let's park.
I think we need to like get our bag. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So it's parallel parking. It's a one-way street, and you have 12 car spots on the left-hand side.
No cars.
No cars.
Just cones.
And there's cones separating each spot. So we're the first ones there, right? All you got to do is drive your car into a spot. Don't even need a reverse. Don't even touch the stick. Just park. You're good. You're good. I told Claire, I was like, Claire, just pull it in. I was like, Claire,
you got it.
Just pull in the car.
I go.
Claire goes, starts driving.
I go.
You see her runs over every like 3 cones in a row, just runs them over. I was like, "Are you?"
And then my car is like not even aligned. It's like,
it's like sideways in the spot, 3 cones underneath our car. And to be fair, it was like we were nervous because we were like,
Very
"Holy
nervous.
crap!"
They'll think that Derek was the one behind the wheel after all, considering how the car was parked.
I was like, guys, like I think I actually could have done this a little bit better. So I get out of the car. I get out of the car, and there's kind of like a parking attendant who's like with the race, and then he's kind of like directing us.
He's
I get out.
sure no one parks.
Yeah. So I get out of the car. It's this like local German dude, and I look up at him, and he's looking at my car, and he's like, "Was ist dies? Was ist dies gab?" So he's upset with us, and I don't realize what's going on. And I look underneath the car, and I'm like, "Oh man, Claire, you just ran over 3 cones in a row." So now at this point, I'm like, shoot, okay, well, what was an easy park job just became
a lot harder.
A hard park job because now we have to reverse,
get the cones,
re-pull in, reverse, re-pull in, actually like navigate these cones. So I don't remember what you guys asked, but this
were we surprised that we won?
Very surprised. Surprised to the point that we ran over 3 cones. Yes.
I really was expecting someone else just to come in and go bloop, 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 and like run over and get first, but
yeah.
You did it.
Surprised because we hit a lot of road bumps, but only at the end. The rest of it we got done pretty quick.
I'll have to say that has to be, in my opinion, the sloppiest story I've ever heard about someone getting to the pit stop. And granted, one season 2 people swam to the pit stop when they shouldn't have.
Mike, yes,
you still take the cake.
I agree. Like, okay, the sloppiest story. I chugged a beer. We switched drivers. We can't park, and we still got first. Yeah. So when the interviewers were asking me afterwards, like, hey, like, how was the race? I completely kind of like flubbed. And I said, honestly, it was pretty easy. Yeah. And that's just like not something you should say because like this is something they've been like working on and like preparing and like organizing for, like the past year or however long. And there's like 2,000 people across the world that are coordinating this. You don't want some kids to like walk in off of Big Brother and be like, yeah, that was so easy, man. Like, wow, I can't believe.
Piece of cake.
Yeah. And
we're going to win everything for the rest of the way.
I just sound like a complete ass. And like, I just wasn't thinking. Like, I was saying kind of like my internal thought of, in my mind, like that was easier than what I had expected it to be. I don't know. I still like now can't communicate.
We just ran a clean leg our first leg,
Yes.
other than the very end, and we weren't expecting that.
I think what I meant to say was like we did well, and I didn't realize we had done well.
We could do well.
Well, that would be my question then. Like throughout the race, how much did it figure in your heads that you could win? Did you think like what was the likelihood in your heads that you were going to be the winners?
Well, so you know, Phil called us cocky. He never heard any of this conversation. If he did, he would be like, "I stand by my statement." Me and Claire like finished that first leg, got back to the hotel room, and first I think we like did a little dance with each other, and then I was like, "Claire, I think we're just gonna win the race. Like, congratulations! You can go ahead and cash that now. Like." I felt like we had just made so many mistakes and we had still managed to do that well. What I didn't realize was on the race, there's a learning curve.
Yes.
And I think me and Claire, just having done like so much prep, erased a little bit of that learning curve.
And having been on TV before.
And, okay, huge. And having been on TV before, there was just a lot that we had an advantage on. But so let's say like, this is where we started in terms of competency. We kind of went like this. Other teams went like this, you know, and they were just increasing very fast and we were doing it incrementally and we just didn't have as much like things that we were like learning. So other teams caught up to us so quick. So, I mean, we were first, but then we were fourth and then seventh, you know, and I was like, okay, I guess we just go home after this. Like, I don't know. And like other teams were just catching up and surpassing us because they were constantly learning from their mistakes. And I think that is the detriment of getting first place on the first leg is we didn't know what we could improve on. So it took us placing like second to last to realize like, oh no, these are the things that we need to get better on if we want to have a even shot in the dark at winning.
And like, I think you do learn way more on the legs you do bad in than the legs you do well in. Like the first leg, we had no learnings really, other than don't drink a beer and I shouldn't drive.
Well, I mean, I did drink the beer and then we got first. So I was like, well, you know.
Is that the lucky charm?
Is this strategy now? Strategy?
But I think knowing that we could win was huge. I think at some points on the race, we also thought we cannot win this. Like, I think we had like some low points where it was like, this is going to be impossible to win. Like these other teams are just good and we are just not good enough. But I 100%. Think going towards the end, once we won again in Toulouse, our second win, it was like, okay, we can do this.
Yeah. Our lowest point was definitely so that first place, and then we went down to fourth. But I felt pretty good about the fourth place because we were technically like second to last at one point, and then
that was the yodeling, right?
The yodeling challenge, right?
Basically, we're there last, but then you were able to bounce back completely in Austria.
Yes, and then the bounce back was just purely off of navigation and then doing the challenge fast, which I guess is the whole race. I don't want to say like, oh, it was just off of this. That is what the race is. And then the first half of the mega leg. So this is now Ducati. Like leg 3. The Ducati challenge comes, and me and Claire get their second, and we leave like 6th, 7th, or something like that. And I think for me, this is kind of like my low point because going onto the race, and even now, I'm like, Claire is my secret weapon. She is like the ace up the sleeve for a hard.
No, that was you. We saw it. We heard it all the time on Big Brother 23.
The ace up the sleeve, the kings, the queens, and you were the ace up the sleeve.
Oh yeah, on Big Brother it was me, but I was ready to hand the torch off.
Yeah, thank you.
I was like, okay, hard roadblock, Claire. Attention detail, Claire. Memory, Claire. So I was like, Claire's gonna be the one that like carries this team, and you ended up actually doing that. But in the beginning, like coming off of those like 2 challenges, yodeling Ducati back to back, I was like, man, the person that was supposed to be our silver bullet is losing. I was like, she's supposed to be the best. I'm sending them like these are my legendary Pokemon.
This is my A-team.
Yeah, I'm putting out like a fucking Charizard, and these people are kicking my ass.
This is your blue eyes white dragon, literally.
Yeah. I was like, all right, this is supposed to be like the 5 God hands all together. This is my trump card, and we're losing. Yeah. So that was the lowest point of the race for me, because I realized we're not as good as I thought we were. And I think in that moment, experiencing that, my mindset was just very pessimistic. And I have to give appreciation to Claire, because she was the one that kind of fixed me up. I was like, Derek, you're just being so negative right now.
Back into it.
She's like, you're not enjoyable to be around. Like, you need to pick yourself back up. And I think coming out of that, the mindset shift was, okay, we're not doing as well as I thought we were, but that's just opportunity for improvement, instead of just dwelling on, man, we suck.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, we can't do this.
I think it's like, I felt like this in Big Brother. It's like, I forget what the word is. It's like once you start losing, you keep losing, because that's your mindset, because it's hard for you to remember, oh, I can do well. Like, that's why I have like a strong opinion that now, having done Big Brother, people shouldn't throw comps in Big Brother, because I think it messes with
interesting.
Okay.
I know. Well, I love throwing, and I think it was a mistake.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I could have thrown more.
You didn't know that was a concept.
Yeah, I was like, people, you guys lose on purpose? Crazy.
But I think it causes like a negative feedback loop. And so once we start doing poorly, I think sometimes I got stuck in a negative feedback loop of, I can't do challenges. I can't do these roadblocks. Like, if I can't yodel, I can't build a motorcycle. Like, what will I be able to do? You know?
Yeah.
I forget what the question.
No, that's interesting though, because like, what's interesting is I feel like, after the yodeling stuff, it was interesting to put you on the Ducati. And there was a little bit of that talk of like trying to fight that negative feedback loop and be like a little bit of redemption in a manner of speaking. But that also weighs against, I know, your preseason strategy that ends up partially winning you the race, right? Which is front loading Claire on the roadblocks, assuming the back half is going to be more physical, in which Derek could take over. So how much were you trying to negotiate there? Like, okay, we have this thing, but like, we're actually looking at the task and we're not sure if we're matching up the right person to it.
Well, it's interesting. So it's like the other thing that we have to remember about the race is your probabilities of getting eliminated are the lowest in the beginning. So even though Claire was like stumbling on a couple roadblocks, it almost doesn't make sense for me to start doing roadblocks, because the chances are the highest right now that we don't get eliminated. So, like you have the room to stumble and still stay on the race. Like, we can leave yodeling second to last and be fine. But like, if you're in the final 4, if you leave a challenge last, you're not fine. You're losing. Yeah. So there's a little bit of that as well.
And I know especially that Ducati, it said like, who wants to take a break or something. But we're at the Ducati factory, so we thought it was going to be similar to 31, where you drive a motorcycle. And Derek has, again, crashed many motorcycles, mopeds, etc.
Many.
So like, this should be me.
No, it wasn't many. It wasn't many.
You've crashed a moped and
a
bike.
A moped bike, like electric scooter.
Yeah.
It's not
Ducati. We didn't want to add that.
Right.
It's not many.
And so I think that and yodeling we thought was going to be like attention to detail, and then going into, we found out it was Mega Lake that day. I think did we know that we were going to split it up, or was it like, did we go into that day thinking ideally I would do both? But then after Ducati, it was like, take it. I don't want to deal with this. I think that was it. I think we wanted.
I do. We were still trying to optimize who was doing what challenge. So in general, our kind of like heuristics going into a race was Claire's good at memory, attention to detail, and I'm going to force her to do heights.
Yeah.
And then I was going to do physical.
And
is that it?
Yeah, I think it was. If we can figure out what the physical is, you're going to do it, and then I will do basically anything else.
Yeah, because I do think like Amazing Race, there's like a lot of challenges that just like end up being like a little physical, a little mental,
Mhm.
but and so like anything that was kind of like in that wheelhouse was supposed to be me. Yeah. And then we felt like with that distribution, we should end up at the final with like her having completed her 6, and I'll still have a couple left over. End up being
Working
what it was,
perfectly,
which was amazing.
Yeah. I know like other teams try to go every other, and we never wanted that to be like our mindset 100%, because we wanted to have flexibility for like, okay, if we can guess what this is, but then also the front loading.
Yeah. Where do you think you guessed the wrongest? Like what was the most misleading roadblock clue?
All of them.
Yeah, I don't think we ever like guessed correctly.
I never do. You guys remember the slide puzzle where Claire had to move those big puzzle pieces, and all of the judges were wearing smocks, right? And they're like artists. I ran up to there. I thought they were wearing aprons. So I told Claire, I was like, this is a cooking challenge, Claire. You're about to be cooking right now. So
it was like, who wants to like fit the pieces or something like that?
I was like, okay,
Some
cool.
pieces.
You're going to be putting ingredients together, and you have to fit all these pieces into a pot. I was off on literally every single.
I think the one that in hindsight we're like, oh, we should have done it really differently, that we're thrown off against, was who wants to climb the family tree? Because we thought that was just going to be like 100% physical, like you're rock climbing, you're coming down, and then lo and behold, it was a memory challenge. I think it could have gone much worse.
But it ended up not even being like a memory challenge. It was just memorize like 12 things. So I don't think it was even that hard. So in hindsight,
it is hard.
You know, if we could have like switched to maybe like you should have done that and I should have done the tightrope. Yeah. And that would have been ideal.
Is there anything else from your time in Italy that you want to highlight?
Italy. Okay, so this is Bologna, Florence. I'm saying no. I don't think I'm ever going to go back to Florence.
No, we hated it.
Why?
Well, we ran through, I think, most of Florence already.
No, you've seen it a lot.
It was just a lot of running. So it was the tail end of our mega leg. So we're already exhausted. We
had done the running at the cheese wheel. The Ducati challenge took like 4 hours.
Wow.
And then a long drive to Florence. We got very lost.
Very lost driving to Florence.
And then the sculpting happened.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about how lost we were in Florence. So for Florence, to get from Bologna to Florence, you know, cities away. Like it'd be like trying to tell someone, hey, look, drive from Los Angeles to San Francisco. And like here's your
maybe like Los Angeles to like San Diego.
Okay.
Well, it wasn't that far.
The way that we were navigating, it's Los Angeles to San Francisco. All right. It was Los Angeles and Quebec.
Yeah.
All right. So we were driving and no map.
Yeah, no map.
All they gave you was
turn by turn directions.
But not turn by turn.
Yeah.
It was
Great British Bake Off directions, basically.
It was like
oh yeah, the technical. Yeah, they just give you like a list of things to do.
Like drive.
Make the creme pat.
Yes.
That's what it was. Like get onto the A4. Where is it? Just get onto it. Get onto the A4. So we're trying to like follow these directions, and we get into the city of Florence. And one of the directions is like follow this circle. There's a symbol on it. It's like follow this symbol, and that will bring you to the city center. All right, so we're driving around and we're following the signs for like the symbol, and eventually the signs go away. And I was like, oh shoot, Claire, wait,
we turned around and they're now going the opposite direction. Like
we had driven into the city center, out of the city center, and then drove back into the city center. Like we followed those signs around. Eventually we're like, okay, we're really messing up right now. We need to pull over and just ask someone for directions. So we pull over, I get this guy asking for directions. He pulls them up on his phone. We like write them all down, but we're frantic right now because we know we left Ducati like close to last, and we know we got super lost. So we're like frantically writing out these directions. Me and Claire get back into the car. I remember Claire's like, so what do you got? I show her my piece of paper. Nothing legible. Literally nothing legible. It's like an arrow that's vaguely pointing left, but it also could have been pointing straight. And it was like a number that might have said 200 or 700. Yeah. Like nothing was legible. So that was a complete wash. We eventually just read the clue again and just follow those directions. We get to kind of like the area that we should be parking our car, and it's this castle. So I'm driving. It's a manual car. I don't know how to drive manual. I'm driving up like these like castle roads, and again, this is like Italy, so like these roads are like 45 degrees.
We learned to drive in Virginia Beach, and Virginia Beach is flat. Like the largest hill in Virginia Beach is the trash pile.
Yeah.
The trash pile.
That's what people call it.
This is a real thing.
Yeah.
It was like an
you
old
can
landfill.
see it for miles.
It was an old landfill, and they repurposed it, resodded it, and they like
nice part.
made it like a man-made hill.
Yes.
Called the trash pile?
On top of the
trash. Not trash more.
It's like a modern feat of
It's where we had to go to like run stairs, because those are like, it's the tallest hill you could get to. We were just hiking for like hours.
One funny thing is when we were prepping for the race, me and Claire were like, man, if the finale's in Virginia Beach, we know Mount Trashmore. I was like, but
Mount Trashmore, the greatest man-made monument in Virginia Beach.
Imagining a memory task in Mount Trashmore
for this leg of the race.
Sort through all the garbage to find out what you encountered on each leg.
Now, Staten Island would like a word.
Yeah, once I was like, turn your step counter on, Claire, because we're gonna go crazy. Anyway, so I'm driving up.
But I mean to say that, so we did not know how to drive on hills whatsoever.
Oh yes, yes, we did not know, but unfortunately, I do have to drive up this hill, and I remember.
I think we have a visual here of is this Mount Trashmore?
Yes, that's Mount Trashmore.
Yes. This is what I was trained on. That's like a bunny slope. That's nothing. It barely even shows in this picture. It looks like someone just has the wrong perspective on their camera. It's like not even a hill. It's not even a hill.
Incredible.
So I have no experience with bumps. I'm looking at this thing. It looks like Mount Rushmore. I'm like, oh my God, is this like Olympus? Yeah. So we have to start driving up this road. Unfortunately, there is a stop sign right before this road. Actually, no, it was a yield sign.
Yeah.
So some teams just blew through the yield sign. I think every team blew through it. I, unfortunately, came to a full and complete stop because I'm a fantastic driver. I let some cars go, and I said, all right, it's my turn. And if you guys drive a manual car, then you know the hardest part is starting your car from a stop. This is basically the only hard part of driving a stick.
Yeah.
So I'm revving my engine, stalling out. And as this is happening, my car is moving back down the hill.
Oh, no.
I'm like within, I think, an inch of like the car behind me. They're honking at me, yelling at me.
They're cursing us in Italian. They're like giving us a lot of gestures outside the window. I am hunched down in the back, like no.
Yeah, Claire's not even looking.
I'm not looking. My ears are plugged.
She's hiding herself. She's so like.
I'm checked out.
I'm scared too. Like I'm super scared. And then our audio guys literally yells at us, and he's like, dude, do the emergency brake method. And I was like, I turned back and I was like, I don't even know the regular brake method. You don't even know the emergency brake method? Are you kidding me? So Claire like yelled something like, Derek, just like slam the gas or something. It was like slam your foot down.
Hold the brake and slam the gas and let just go.
So in like one final attempt, I just like slam my foot down to the bottom of the gas, and we like end up like halfway up the hill. Yeah. And then I like pull over, and we reshuffle a lot of things, and we make it up the hill. But yeah, so.
Wow. So you must have been so happy when you touched down in Jordan and you're like, someone else is driving.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. 1,000%.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Yeah. Our driver ended up being almost like too good.
Too fast.
I was like, I'm scared.
Yeah. There was a lot of holding on in Jordan.
I was like, wait. I was like, this is off-roading. Like, and this is like a Prius. You need to slow down. We're going to flip this car right now.
What was it like going? Because, obviously I know that you had been newer fans of The Amazing Race, so you did a lot of backlog experience, but like hearing you get to visit a location for the first time in the show's history, how awesome was that?
Wait, sorry.
In Jordan.
Oh, yeah, Jordan.
Figuring out that we were going there for the first time.
yeah.
It was so cool.
To the site of an alien spacecraft crash.
Yeah.
A huge
lot we saw.
discovery.
Perhaps
I
an extraterrestrial Mount Trashmore.
Yeah. I was like, I thought Stitch was in Hawaii. I guess he crashed in Jordan.
That's your only alien movie reference you have.
Oh no, but that's like a crashed spaceship, you know, and he's
yeah.
trying to like get back. So yeah, all my references, my pop culture references are Disney Channel. So I'm just gonna say that now.
Mhm.
No shame.
I'm not ashamed of that. Like,
No.
what you wanted me to say? It?
Yeah.
What's the
It. No,
the thing.
E.T.
It's a clown.
Not IT, ET.
I was thinking,
Mhm.
okay, E.T.
Although, in fairness, I can understand why you didn't want to watch that movie. There are a lot of bicycles in E.T.
in E.T.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
Yeah.
Not a single time. Doesn't he have to like bike up like to space or something? I think I saw
The ultimate
wasn't
Mount Trashmore. Yeah.
Wasn't that how you crashed it? That was your accident?
Yeah, no.
No.
Never catch me watching IT. It was cool.
It was
like
cool.
going to Jordan, like
Yeah, going to Petra.
it was someplace. I have to say it, the hotel in Jordan, best hotel we have been in.
Nice.
It was like a 5-star resort. It was awesome.
Yeah, we did not get to see it, but the food was good.
Oh man. Oh, and this was the place that Will got quarantined in because this is where
Yeah.
they- and I was telling Will, I was like, honestly, man, you picked a good location to get COVID. Like it's like a 5-star resort. The room service menu was like 20 pages. Every
You got to
cuisine-
know it very well. I think
Yeah.
he tried them all.
He did try them all. In our hotel rooms, we have TVs that always play like local channels.
Mhm.
So we would shuffle through them trying to find like English movie channels.
Mhm.
And surprisingly, there's tons of English movie channels in
A
like
lot of
foreign
tourists,
countries.
I think.
I guess like a lot of tourists. So every place we've been to, we'd always be able to like find one, like maybe one. But this place we found 3, which was good.
Huge. So we loved Petra. Yeah. Wonder of the world. And we're like, man, the movies though were great.
These American
Mhm.
What was
No
the
IT,
best?
though.
Yeah, what was the best random movie you caught in a hotel?
we were really into there was Lego.
Yeah, the
movie,
Lego movies.
Lego movie
I
2.
love the Lego movies.
I think we watched that like 3 times.
I do think we were there long enough. I think like each night there was a Now You See Me. So we got to watch both of them. That was fun.
Yeah.
What other? It was hard because sometimes I've tried to look up some of the movies because like sometimes like you start a movie and then you
Mhm.
fell asleep or like you come in halfway and I'm like, man, that movie was good. And I like try to look it up. I have no context for what it was.
Yeah,
So I'm like,
Not at all.
woman wedding.
And this makes sense, right? Because people always ask you, like, well, how far behind were Aubrey and David? You're like, well, there were 2 Now You See Me 2s behind them.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
time.
So-
Yeah, exactly.
Were you all stopped down for a while when the Will and Abby COVID positive thing happened?
So that had happened right after Petra. And then I think maybe was it the next day that we went to Amman? Or did we have 2 days in between
we
that?
had like that bus thing, and then
Yeah, I know that we had a bus.
I think we at least had that night, and then the next day.
Another day,
We
and
did
we
not
traveled.
run the next day. Yeah. So it was that
Yeah.
night. We traveled the next day, and then
No,
the day after that.
because we traveled and then we ran in Amman. I don't fully remember.
Oh, you're kind of. But
But-
we left in the. Oh,
We left in the morning and Will and Abby didn't come. And that's how we were like, something's afoot.
Mm-hmm.
dang, yeah, I don't
Did you
know.
get a sense from production after that they had like really tried to restrict you or watching you more closely
Yes.
just to prevent another outbreak?
Yes.
Yeah. Our COVID test 3x'd overnight.
Yes, we did a lot more COVID tests. The rule was always supposed to be anytime you interact with anyone
Yeah.
outside of production, wear a mask. It was a little,
Don't drink their beer.
well, for sure not that.
Yeah. And really, like after Abby and Will got COVID, I was like, whoa, Claire.
Yeah.
Like I really messed up.
Yeah. It's like, and the race is hard too because you're so exhausted and so run down. Everyone kind of gets a little bit sick. Anyways. And so I think everyone was very worried about that they had COVID.
Oh yeah. We were crushing Imodium.
Yeah, but after that, well, we
Imodium.
that was Yeah, that was rough in Amman. Yeah, we would take Imodium and then laxatives. It was like a
don't brush your
pre-race and then a post-race.
Do not brush your teeth with the water.
No, we learned the very hard way.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We kind of thought that Linton and Sharik were going to replace or get back onto the race.
Right.
So before the leg started, there was like this like random oak tree in the middle of this like plaza.
Amman in the Citadel, the Citadel.
By the Citadel. And Claire was like, Linton and Sharik are behind that tree.
I think they're behind there. I think they're there.
Behind that tree.
I was like, I'm going to walk over there. I'm just going to see. And they're like, stay close. And I was like, it is them. We know.
Yeah. And Claire said it like it was like a confirmed sighting. So I started telling other teams, I was like, Linton and Sharik are back.
They're behind the tree.
Behind the tree.
Yeah.
I was like, they're about to pop out here.
I think it was the drone operator.
So it was like a camera guy just trying to get an angle.
I love Claire spreading false spoilers about their whole season while racing.
Of course. Sabotage.
Yeah, that was super rough. Yeah, we really like that. They were one of the teams that we actually like and really wanted to work with from the very start.
Yeah.
So they were definitely taken too soon.
So that's a non-elimination leg that you go through in the second part of Jordan.
Well, technically, someone was eliminated at the beginning.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Sorry, no non-elimination legs.
No non-elims. Okay.
sorry about that. Yeah. Was there anything else of note from the second part of Jordan?
So that was Amman.
Amman, yeah. I think they really got a lot of our moments in Amman.
So Amman starts and
I'm like, I think they wrapped it up, and you're like, so at the very beginning, we run.
But Amman was the first time since the very first leg that we all started at the same time. So it was all 7 teams. Seven.
Yeah.
It was all 7 teams. And Phil says go, and we all run off together. So now you could really see like who people were working with.
Yes.
So we all run off, and the first thing is like you just have to navigate your way to a bookstore.
And I really feel like navigating Amman felt like what it must have felt like to navigate at early seasons of the Amazing Race, because you couldn't really look up a lot of the places on the phone. So you just had to ask locals, like, do you know where this is?
Yeah,
and
like,
they would kind of direct you.
This bookstore was not Barnes & Noble. It was it
not
wasn't
on
even,
any maps.
It wasn't on a map, wasn't on Google Maps, wasn't on Google. You could not find this bookstore. But at the very start, none of us realized this. So we run out of the start of the start place, and there's a group of tourists. So everyone starts grabbing tourists. And I remember our strategy was like, let's not grab a group of tourists, because if you ask them for directions, then afterwards what they don't show is you kind of have to wait for a little bit, and you have to get like a signature from them. It can take like 5 minutes. It can take a while. Maybe not 5.
No.
It feels like 5. It feels like 5 minutes. So I remember pulling back there. I was like, let's not get waiver, or let's not ask people, because then we risk us having to wait for someone to sign a waiver while every other team is running off. So I was like, let's just sit back and let the 6 other teams ask people.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like
if someone runs off, okay, let's go. Like, done, follow.
Yes. And then that was what we were doing. But then we started like running down, and you could see all the teams like linking up. So up top, it was like Louis Michel and Quentin and Maddie were like a duo. Immediately you saw like the brothers and
Emily and Molly.
Thank you. So then I was like, oh, Claire, we like need a partner or something. Like I didn't realize everyone had kind of like paired up. And I was getting PTSD to Big Brother again. I was like, no, not again, please.
We need to find alliance quick.
Someone, please, anyone. So just haphazardly, we happened to be running close to Aubrey and David. And at this point, we didn't really have like that much, definitely no game relationship. Like we're friendly, you know, like we'd like tell stories to each other, and it was like fun. But I remember running up to like David and Aubrey and being like, yo, every team right now has paired up. And it's just like us left. Like, should we work together in this leg? And they were like very open and receptive to it. And probably like one of the best things that happened because then like we ended up working them on other legs. They helped us out in a huge way
on the second mega leg.
On the second half of Rhonda when we got there, because David and Aubrey, or just David. Did they both speak fluent Spanish?
Just
David speaks fluent Spanish. So that like one haphazard conversation ended up really paying off for like every future leg of the race.
When it came to France, there's the first part, which is this detour, right? Where you choose to take perhaps the more big brothery option of these medieval games. And you vocalize then this idea of like, well, if we want to pass teams, let's take the option that not a lot of people pick. Because then obviously with the walnut pressing, like it was kind of, everyone finished in the order they arrived. Was that a strategy you generally had in the race, or did it only really apply to that situation?
In that situation, it was particularly applicable because we hadn't seen Glenda and Lamumba all day. No team had seen them. So we knew that there was kind of a lead there. So we knew, and we were coming at the end. I think we got there third to last. And so it was kind of like, okay, we can just probably get to the back of the pack, probably won't go home.
Yeah.
Or why not switch and try this? We always wanted to try to, I think, I don't know what it was after. At a certain point, we realized we need to actually figure out what are our strengths and do the detour.
Florence.
Yeah.
Because Florence, we had just done so many physical tasks that day. And we're just like, we're not like the physical team. Like,
no.
why are we hauling a cheese wheel?
Yeah,
around
why are we
Bologna?
running around? Like, we should be doing tests. Like, we are the kind of people that are doing exams. You know?
For sure. I feel like every challenge I'd see us and like Michael and Marcus, I was like, we're doing the wrong challenge.
Yeah, like we aren't doing the right challenge.
We're not
as people.
We're picking wrong.
Yeah, and so when we got there to the walnut, I was like, we don't have any special walnut skills right now. Like, I don't think we're gonna.
Little did you know, I did have walnut skills.
What was it?
Me and my mom used to crack walnuts. That's just how we. And so my mom like doesn't like eating like unshelled nuts. She likes to peel them herself. So she'll buy like the shelled walnuts, and we have like a walnut cracker.
Boy.
And this is like how we like pass time.
Is this like Aubrey with her grandmother, where now you just like are mortified by walnuts because you've seen your mom crack too many?
I hear the sound. I'm like, no. Anything but this. Medieval torture, even.
This was the race that was designed for you, Derek, between all of these different things, the piano at the end.
Is, like, looking back on it, there was always something on every leg of the race that was like, this somehow connects to something in my life.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
But I feel like everyone can kind of say that, you know, like Emily and Molly, like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everything was like, yeah, this is like this one random thing about me.
This is like one like general advice for the Amazing Race. Me and Claire were kind of talking about how do you like prep for this?
Yeah.
And I think the reason like some seasons you'll see like an older team who like might be like slower, but they'll win. Is because life experience really becomes a factor on the Amazing Race, and just how many different things have you experienced in life?
Yeah.
Like, what is your like breadth of knowledge? Not depth, just like how much you know.
How many
random
things have you
like a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think like that like little bit of prior history or knowledge
Mm-hmm.
is the edge that you need. So like Emily and Molly had just like seen everything.
Yeah.
Like
they just experienced a lot of different things between like Emily being a mom.
She was like, I built furniture like this for my kid, or like she like is one of them is a like some type of doctor, some type of like doctor.
Yeah,
they
she
saw
works
the
in the medical
bones.
field.
They can name like the anatomy of the bone. So they just had like a lot of life experience. So I like one thing me and Claire tried to do before the race started was we just did a bunch of random shit.
Yeah.
We were running escape rooms because an escape room is like a built-in puzzle. So we were doing that like every other day. But then we would just be like, crack these walnuts.
Yeah. Learn how to double dive. Learn how to hacky sack.
Dive to the bottom of the pool and like pick up a rock and bring it back to me.
You gotta have you do swimming things.
Literally like play fetch with my dog.
Yeah. Go try to get the ball from my dog.
At one point, I feel like Claire's mom was just giving me chores that she didn't want to do. She was like, she literally was like, flip the wooden planks on our deck. It's like, okay,
she did a Mr. Miyagi on you.
Guys don't want to
exactly.
Do, right? Like this is
that way you could sweep the final leg and take home the prize.
Yeah. She was like, here's how you turn yarn into a ball.
Yeah.
Like, okay, come on.
Yeah.
What are you
how to sew? That was what that was.
Like,
how to sew a button.
What's next? You're gonna teach me how to speak Arabic?
Yeah.
Like, these are really useless things right now. Yeah. So I don't remember the question.
Yeah,
but
I think we answered it.
yeah.
All right, so on the second part of the leg in France, anything notable happened there?
Second part in France. Oh, yeah, we won. So
yeah, we won.
Leg.
That was good. That leg, after rugby, I did fall again. I had another wipeout.
Oh man.
Very similar actually to in Petra. I fell and I was like gushing blood everywhere. It was gnarly. A lot of blood between us on this in the entire race.
Right, I heard the story, Derek, about the blood that you literally shed at the finish line.
Yeah, on the mat, the pit stop mat.
Yeah, me like holding my nose, talking to Phil. I was like, "Hey Phil, are you proud of me yet?" Like,
how did you get a nosebleed?
I did this for us.
What happened to you, Derek?
At the finale, me and Claire ran in, and just in the burst of excitement, we like jumped in for a hug. And I do like get nosebleeds like pretty easily, but it doesn't help that she just clocked me in the face.
Yeah.
So my nose now is just like completely broken.
It was not broken, just gushing blood.
Yeah, I'm like, can I get a surgeon? Forget the issue. So yeah, I'm just like bleeding blood. And I want to stop it because I'm like, this is a huge moment for us. Yeah. I want to be able to get like one interview out. So I'm just like tilting my head back, and Phil's still asking us questions. So I'm answering them like this, but they cut all of them out.
Yeah,
so it was only the ones after nosebleed stopped.
Yeah, I think you can see like a little bit of tissue sticking out of his nose though. Like if you look closely.
The world's smallest piece of tissue. I mean, okay, this is a multi-million-dollar production. Could I get like at least 2-ply? Like, come on.
I mean, between getting a nosebleed on the final mat and losing your voice entirely on the day after the finale.
Yeah.
I
kind of cursed.
Yeah, you seem a little cursed.
Yes.
I wasn't destined to win.
No, this is like
it was everything. The universe was pushing me away from it.
Yeah, you used up all your good karma, basically. And as soon as you hit the mat, it was like payback time. Bad karma coming your way.
But
well, now I want to know what would happen if you went on another reality show.
Oh, God.
Like, have you just drained the world of karma?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Bye. It's the last time you see me. I'll write my will and testament before
please do.
Submitting that.
I mean,
going to
the number one question that we have here is that people want to know if Derek would play Survivor. I have Survivor fan Dan wants to know.
That is a
Derek,
picture of Carla.
Is Survivor next for you?
It's like, no, that's my look
Derek,
like.
what's next on your reality TV tour? So a lot of people are asking about if you would consider Survivor.
Oh yeah, I would definitely consider. I say more warmly to consider. I'm like very open to Survivor.
Yeah, because correct me if I'm wrong, your entire origin story with like getting here in the first place, the little domino that tips off to the big domino is like you
Survivor, right?
Yeah, you watched Survivor on Netflix and you just randomly slid into the DMs of somebody.
So crazy. And even before that, I never talked about this because I actually forgot about it. But me and Claire the other day were talking about Survivor Michigan because she organized that, and it triggered this memory. The first thing, like before everything, was at the very start of the pandemic. I was looking for more content to consume. And a lot of my friends were on Survivor Maryland. And I binged like the most recent season of Survivor Maryland on YouTube. And I remember like, oh, this is like so cool.
Yeah.
And I completely forgot about that. But that's like how I started my...
It was your first season of Survivor you ever watched.
Yeah, my first season of Survivor ever was on YouTube.
You watched Gagayan and you were like, wait, they're on an island? What's happening?
I was like, whoa.
Yes.
There's 2 camera perspectives. This is crazy. It's like, whoa, guys, the idol isn't under a doormat.
Claire, what about for you? That am I mistaken that I feel like that Survivor is the show that you know the best out of the big three?
Yes, Survivor is the show I for sure know the best, and I've like watched for the longest and put the most hours in. Yeah, I would be open, obviously.
Yeah. Claire actually wanted to write a book. This is before we went on to Amazing Race. She wanted to write a book about like overall, how do you win these reality
like
competition
social
shows?
deception. Yeah.
Oh.
Yes. And like every chapter was kind of going to be like, I won't give everyone the book, but yes, that was the overall thesis. And I was like, Claire, like, shouldn't you
win something? Like you haven't done Survivor and you haven't won anything.
Like I don't know what the author cover looks like. Like Claire Rehfuss, 8th place.
Survivor.
8th place Big Brother, season 23. How to win. I was like, I don't know.
Look, you can apparently not win a reality show and still make a career out of knowing a lot about reality shows. This is what I've heard.
You know what?
That is true. That is true.
Thank you. Finally, somebody noticed. Yeah.
Listen, I'll buy the CR rules. I'll buy like 10 copies.
Yeah. So Claire's very into Survivor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do. It is sort of at a point where it's like, it's not up to us. It's not up to us if we would do it. I think if they asked, we'd be happy to.
And before you go into a show, you can't really talk about it like very openly. Sure. So
Oh, yeah. What a tease! What a tease! What about Tough as Nails, Derek?
Oh,
that's the tease.
I want people always ask about Survivor, and they're like, it's the trifecta. What about Tough as Nails?
Well, Claire, we know about your history with nails. I don't know if it'd be.
You will not see me on there. Look, I would be. Off their
the real problem is like Phil's like also the host of that show, so I'm he's like anyone but
yes.
He's like literally anyone.
He's like, let's get Emily on here.
He's like, that cocky kid, don't. Like,
here's Derek. He's a hardworking reality TV contestant. He's done 3 shows in 18 months.
The man he shed blood on the finish line. That's how hard he is.
The only man that's ever put blood on the pit stop mat. I do think we're probably the 2 people that have blood on there.
Yes, I think both of us have.
Okay. Are you ready to take us to Spain?
Let's go to Spain.
Let's do Spain. Okay. So Spain also our second mega leg.
Yes.
Started in Malaga and then went to Ronda.
Yeah, and we had figured that there would be a second mega leg just based off of like
vibes.
How many episodes we felt like there were left.
Oh yeah.
Do you prepare for the mega leg any differently than a regular leg?
I think they told us like drink a lot of water. But no, not really. You really don't know. I think Phil did tell us in Austria that there would be mega legs on the race. And then there was a mega leg the very next one. And we were like, oh, okay, we're going quick.
Did you feel more prepared for this one, having already experienced one in Italy?
I couldn't imagine how it could get worse after the Italy one, because the Italy one was so bad. I was like,
we could have got eliminated.
Well,
we could have gone home.
But I was like, man, I don't think I'll be more emotional than I was after the Italy one.
And they're like, you know what? Put her on a cliff.
Yeah.
Make her regret that.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, so much went down on this leg. Yeah. So obviously, at the very end, there's Claire doing the high wire.
Yeah.
Which is a very emotional experience that I'm sure Claire would like to talk about.
Oh yeah, I loved it. Loved to talk about that. Yeah. So delightful.
Yeah. But I think the start of it, obviously, there's like the biking stuff, which I could not. I was like, is this another challenge? Is this the roadblock? Me just having to ride a bike? Claire really clutched it with the puzzle at the very beginning.
Yeah, that was nice to have the lead at the very beginning. But it was like the Big Brother puzzle.
It was huge for our morale.
Way harder. Because I think like the Big Brother puzzle is designed to be solved in like 30 seconds on live TV. And this one, they're like, all right, what if it took them like an hour, 45 minutes? So that was very, very tricky.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm so glad you did that one, because I was like, I was ready to cook.
Yeah. You're getting ready to cook some paellas.
Yeah, I never would have found the painting. I would have been walking into the restaurants like, is this where the clue is? Are you guys
But there was a cooking challenge on this. So you were
it was a cooking challenge.
You were on the right leg, wrong task.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So and then we go with the bikes. We show up to Sardines. We show up there first.
Yeah.
So like me and Claire are feeling very good about this first leg. And now that we're like getting towards the end, our confidence is back.
Yes. Very much so.
We had just won Toulouse, and now this was like, I was scared that we were just going to get blown out because Aubrey and David, Louis and Michelle, two Spanish-speaking teams. We're in Spain, so I was like, Claire, we're kind of fighting for last now. So in that first half, to finish in first, our confidence was very high.
Very good.
And it did not deserve to be that high.
No, it should not have been, because right away we do a wrong turn.
Yeah, right away we start driving to Ronda and we get lost because we're driving around and all we need to do is get onto this highway. And we know Ronda's roughly like northwest of us. So
we have like a map. I don't even know. You would show like a kindergartner of like, here's the south of Spain. It has like 2 roads on it and like some cows, I feel like.
Yeah. It's
like it had like the highways and like a star and like Ronda, and it had like the arch, the bridge, and like Malaga, and it was like a little fish.
It's like when Dora the Explorer's like, where's the map? It's like, this is the map she's talking about. This is the fucking map that she's trying to use.
Garrick, when you do it, those are like the maps they give you on Survivor.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Really?
It's like, here's the watering can, but it's like
not to scale.
Like,
there aren't roads on the island, to be fair.
Yeah.
When it came to that like 5-minute 26-point turn, though, what was interesting was like from our perspective, that's the first time we really saw the two of you bicker, at least on camera, on the race. But it sounds sounds like, Claire, from the impetus of you.
The first time that we fought
Mike,
at all.
if you thought that was bickering, that was us being happy.
Yeah. That was just us communicating.
That was just our normal tone of communication on the race.
Yeah.
What do we even say? We were like, turn the car around.
I think it was like, I was like, I think we were like just bickering about like if it was the right way or wrong way.
Oh, but I don't think we ever saw it on the whole season where you two
really didn't show it.
Well, should we recap our biggest fight?
See, I don't think we're ready for this. I don't think we can. We've never seen you two have a fight on television.
Basically,
so you're just relationship goals.
Of me being like, I'm sorry, you can't drive and use the map at the same time.
That's Dom.
Oh, Dom. That was Dom, not Ronda. Sorry.
Yeah. That was Dom. But yes, our biggest fight in the race. At one point, we are leaving. So we're leaving the Walnut Challenge.
We finished everything. We're going to the pit stop.
And we crushed it. So I was like, okay, cool. All we need to do is like navigate to the pit stop. But the entire day we've been messing up navigation. Like every turn was wrong.
We led Aubrey and David the wrong way. It took us like we would like get a lead and then lose it. Get a lead and lose it.
I remember explicitly at one point, I drive up to like a T intersection. So it's you can turn left or you can turn right. But in front of me is like a national forest.
It's just trees.
Nothing. So I pull up to a stop sign and I look back. I'm like, okay, Claire, is it a left or is it a right? Claire looks down at her map and she looks up. She's like, I would love it if you just went straight.
Can you go straight now? That's what the map's saying.
I'm like, Claire, this is a whole tree in front of this is a forest.
I know, but like maybe it's off road. I don't know what to tell you.
She's like, I know it is, but you just need to go straight. I don't know how else to say this. I need you to go straight, maybe go left, and then like immediately turn right. I was like, nope, that also immediately turns into a car accident.
Yeah.
So looking back now, what we realized was going on was we were following hiking trails.
Yes. I had not looked at the legend, which was a big mistake. And so I was trying to go down hiking trails, biking trails, a boundary line that was not a road at all that I thought we followed for like a good 10 miles.
Yeah. So this was this is what was actually happening. So we're incredibly lost. And now we just have to drive to the pit stop. And Claire's telling me like, okay, within the next mile, we're going to need to make a left. I drive a mile. No, there's not even a possibility to make a left. I drive 2 miles, 3 miles, nothing. So now we turn back around, retrace our steps. We're like, you must have missed it. We're driving back. I'm like, Claire, there's no turn we can make.
Yeah.
And then she's like, no, I'm telling you, like, there's a right, or we're just kind of like arguing with each other, like a little bit like a bickering. Now Lewis passes us. And then
Molly and Emily pass us.
And then Lewis and Michelle pass us.
And it's like, okay, God, okay, let's follow them. Let's turn around.
Okay, but basically what had happened was, so we were turning around, right? And we had done this like 2 or 3 times. One of the times that we had turned around, driving back to the challenge, we're driving back. Lewis and Michelle drive past us. Emily and Molly drive past us. I'm like, Claire, do I need to just follow them? Like, do we know where we're going? And then Claire's like, I don't know. And I was like, can you look at the map? Like, we need to figure this out. And then I think I say something along the lines of like, can you hand me the map so I can look? And this
escalated.
Wrong thing to say.
Wrong
thing to say.
And I go, no, I'm navigating. I'm sorry. You can't drive and navigate. I'm sorry. I'm on the race with you, but you have to let me do things.
Yeah.
And
I think explicitly what you said was like,
literally that.
It's like, I know you want to run the race by yourself, but you can't.
I'm here too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was rough.
You're very lucky they didn't air that.
Well, yes, and then we were quiet, and then I
Winner
think
edit.
both like, I'm very sorry, that is not productive. I think Derek was like, Claire, that's not productive at all. I was like, yes, you're right. I'm very sorry. That was not useful.
Yeah.
Yes, very lucky. I was very, very worried they were going to show that because I was like, that's a good explosive fight. I think we got lucky that David and Aubrey also had to fight that leg.
Yeah. If you watch back the episode, it's funny because so David and Aubrey, not only were we like following each other, we were also having the same thought processes.
Yeah.
We were driving the boundary line. They were also driving a boundary line. Bike trail. They were trying to take the bike trail. So they didn't realize what was going on with the map either.
A lot of teams were trying to take these bike trails.
So like all the arguments that me and Claire got into, they also had the exact same arguments because we were arguing about the same things. So watching it back, it was kind of funny because I was like, man, Claire, remember when we said that?
Yeah, literally. And we were like, wow, it's like looking in a mirror.
Man, could have been us.
Yes. And I remember after that leg, we like pulled out our maps right away to like figure out what went wrong. And then we were like telling everyone when we got a chance, like, yo, you were following the pink line hiking trail. And they were like, what? Like,
yeah,
it was rough.
That was the only time in the race that like our relationship with each other impeded us actually running the race.
Yeah.
We pulled over the car and like had the conversation. That was the only time in the race that like we slowed down basically to figure out something in our relationship.
Yeah, like interpersonal issues.
Yeah. Other than that one moment,
wow.
I think one thing me and Claire were really good at was like obviously we were getting into fights or like getting into disagreements about how things are done, but we would bottle it up.
Yeah, we would be like, let's talk about this in the hotel.
And just like save it and just like suppress it. And then, okay, cool. We landed on a pit stop, cameras off. Why that? No. But we would talk about all of it kind of like in our hotel room, just ourselves. And I feel like it's the most productive way to do this.
Yeah.
Because if you're running a leg, your number one priority isn't like,
let me be thoughtful of your emotions and my emotions.
Yeah.
And how do we communicate effectively?
How do we grow our relationship in this 1 hour that we need to like get to the pit stop? It's no, like, let's get to the pit stop and like make sure we're not eliminated. And then let's take the 2 to 3 days we have before the next leg to figure out our relationship. So I think really this setup of the Amazing Race was so perfect for us where we have the chartered flights and this long rest times between legs because it gave me and Claire time to actually build our relationship. In another race where they're flying in and out of airports, sleeping in the airports, all of that stuff, like I don't know how well we'd have done because then we're forced to address all of this while we're still on the race. Yeah. And it just becomes a lot harder.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that the Amazing Plane was quite restful.
Amazing plane. Yeah, best food we had on the entire race.
Very good food.
Fantastic.
As teams got eliminated, their rows would open up. And so it'd be like, now I have a whole row to myself. So that was very nice.
Yeah. At one point, they brought out like an entire basket of fruit, but not like an apple. It was like figs.
Yeah, figs, fresh fruit. It was fantastic.
Like, whoa. I was like, this is not Delta.
No.
Shots fired.
I was like, whoa.
Damn.
Okay. Was there anything else from the leg in Spain that you want to talk through before we get to Iceland?
Man.
No, I don't think so. I feel like they really got a lot of footage of me crossing the bridge. You know, what you saw was what you got. Yeah.
I remember so you heard on the episode when Claire got to like the very end of the rope and they
had to unclip me so I could go back the other way.
Yeah.
Or when they wouldn't let me go over the edge.
Yes.
I didn't like both of those.
So I'm standing like 100, 200 feet away from Claire. And when she's walking across the rope, I can't hear anything. And when I was watching the episode, I realized, oh, Claire was really screaming. But in real life, I couldn't see it. I couldn't hear any of this. I thought, I literally turned to Dave and I was like, wow, Claire's really killing this. I was like,
she's solid as a rock.
And she gets to the end of her rope, and I see this guy like go to unclip her and switch it, and immediately I was like, oh no, he doesn't know. This is gonna be so bad. He doesn't know it's about to happen. And I hear Claire scream. She's like, "You need to let me put a foot over." And she's like, "Do not touch those clips." And I turned to Dave, and I was like, "Okay, no, never mind. No."
You're like, "Yeah, that was what I was."
I was like, "No, this is going how I thought it was gonna go. Yeah. This is exactly how I thought this was gonna go down."
Yeah, I remember I was walking down the stairs and like to go to the cliff, and as I got to the cliff, like the cameramen on The Amazing Race are fantastic, right? So amazing. But I hear my cameraman whisper to the sound guy, "She's losing it." Like so quietly, like, "Hey." And I was like, damn it, he's right. Like
he's right.
And I remember going across, I thought I was really internally freaking out. And like, I know I clearly was yelling at people. But I was like, man, I held that together pretty well on the rope. Like afterwards, I freaked out. But I asked my cameraman after, I was like, oh, because they kind of like prompt you for responses, right? When you're up there, like doing challenges, like, oh, what are you thinking? How's it going? And mine did not prompt me at all. And I was like, I really appreciate you not prompting me. Like you could see I didn't want to talk. And he was like, no, that's not what it is. We knew how you felt. We could tell what was happening up there.
You didn't need to ask how you were feeling.
I didn't need to ask. I was like, well, okay, thank you. Well,
the really funny part of that episode was when Claire like came back to me and I didn't know how to handle what was going on. So I was like, all I know is we need to go to the pit stop.
Need to keep going.
So I'm like slowly ripping open the glue as I'm talking to Claire.
No, I think I told you. I think you're like, Claire, what do I do? I was like, open it. Just open the glue.
I just didn't know. I was like, okay, like I guess I'll open the glue, but also like you're really crying, so I need to support you.
Open it.
So I'm ripping open the glue. And then I'm like, Claire, you're good. Like, it's the right flag. Like, you don't need to go back. She's like, I know it's the right flag. And I'm like, oh, dang. Like, what is she crying about?
Why are you crying then?
I was like, oh, man, I don't understand what's going on. But I thought a hilarious edit in the episode was when I was, like, down there, like, supporting Claire, and Claire's, like, crying. And then the next scene is me reading off the clue.
I'm just still crying in the back.
I was like, Claire, it'll be okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. In this next leg of the race, Claire's going to need find Phil at the pit stop.
I mean, the good news is that was your last roadblock. And it's definitely not the best for last, but I think there probably was a little bit of a cathartic relief after that of like, I don't need to do any of this anymore.
Yeah, I think I was really looking. I had like a more optimism going into the next two legs for sure. Like that anxiety of like, okay, this is going to be on me. We're so close to the end. Was lifted because I was like, I know Derek can do things. Like Derek will be fine, whatever they throw at him, basically. So that was very reassuring. And then once I actually saw what the two were, I was like, oh well, thank goodness.
Oh my god, yeah. Okay, so I feel bad. I kind of have to go.
No, I was going to say that I know you have another appointment coming up at the top of the hour. I know we're close to the end of the race. I feel like that we talked about the last leg on the exit interview. Yeah. Is there anything else that's important that y'all want to let us know?
What do we need to get off our chest?
Anything about Iceland? Derek almost flipped a car in Iceland. That was exciting.
I did almost flip a car. So it was that manual car, right?
The Land Rover.
The spaceship.
Like, yes. Thank you. I also felt that way.
Yeah, I think he's referencing you saying that.
I was like, what? Did Lilo and Stitch come off? You guys get this from Jordan?
Is this from IT?
All IT's coming back.
Yeah. So when I first get into the car, we had just ran like half a mile with Molly and Emily. And it's cold in Iceland, obviously, but from running, I'm generating a lot of body heat. And this like difference, this gradient between my body heat and the outside temperature, when I open up the car door to sit down, my glasses immedially condensate. So I can't really see anything already between this. I wipe them down and then put them back on again. So it's like one of those situations where you just kind of have to like let the temperature hit equilibrium again. So like, I can't even do anything about this. So I'm kind of like trying to maneuver all of this. eyes closed. I'm looking at the stick and I'm like, oh my God, Claire, I see like 2 sticks like coming out of the card. I wipe down my glasses. I'm like, man, I must be losing it. And I look at it, I'm like, oh no, there really are 2 sticks. I'm not blind. So I'm trying to figure this out. So I'm playing with these sticks and I'm like starting the car, but we're immediately stalling out. Starting the car, immediately stalling out. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? This is like definitely the right stick. It's the big one. And Claire's like, is your foot on the clutch? I'm like, Claire, what am I, an amateur? Obviously my foot on the clutch. So I like kind of take off my glasses and I look down. I had 1 foot on the brake and 1 foot on the gas at the same time. And I was like trying to play with these 2. And I was like, oh, okay, no, Claire, you're okay. I got this. I got this now. So foot's on the clutch now, on the gas. We're going. And now I'm just scared of losing momentum because once your car slows down, this is when you stall out. So we get out of the parking lot and the very first thing we need to do is like make this like sharp turn. So I'm pulling up on this turn and I don't want to slow down. So I take it at the speed that I was driving at. And I guess I just didn't realize how top heavy this car was. So I'm taking the turn and you can feel like 2 wheels come off of the ground as we're going along the turn.
It's so scary.
Every single
everyone
person
in the car,
cameraman, audio, everyone screams except for me. I'm dead quiet. I was so scared. And then wheels like hit the road again. And that was like my second lecture. First one was the beer. Second one, reckless driving.
Yes. But it was okay. And then, you just didn't change gears for the rest of the time.
Oh, no. I was like, I'm going to go 60 miles an hour in first gear.
Yes, 100%.
Wow.
And then I think the only other thing in Iceland, I think they were not expecting us at all to get it in one go at the end of Volcano Memory. I think like after I went, I think all the cameras went, like everyone kind of condensed together and they were like, wait, what's going on here? Are they about to get it?
Man.
So that felt very good.
I wish I could tell the story about Iceland and like your memory though. That's like probably one of my favorite stories.
Heartbreaking.
You want to tell it when I'm gone?
No, you got it.
Well, I have to
you have to leave?
Yeah.
Okay.
There is one thing I want to show off to Derek before he leaves, because Claire obviously knows this. I don't know if you do. It's a custom for me to wear an outfit, usually every week on the Amazing Race podcast. And I figured, much like going through
What's
customs,
going on?
Oh no,
I have something to declare.
Wow. You've been sitting on that this whole interview.
Wait. Okay, no, Mike, but now that just opened up so many questions. I'm canceling my plans. You and okay, well, first off, did you get shirts made for every team that made it to the final?
No.
Kind of like a U.S. Open situation?
Exactly. Like, let's pick out of my 12-team closet of like, which one won? Okay, fantastic.
Can I set up on the podcast, and just in case people are not watching the video? So Mike Bloom has unzipped his, what would you say? Is that a warm-up jacket? Yeah.
It's very Icelandic.
Yeah, and he is wearing a Derek and Claire t-shirt that he has coined them Declare.
I am not
better than what else you came up with.
Very glad it's not derriere.
I was gonna say, if you recall, I did come up with a different name, but I was shouted down by Claire herself. So I went with.
We dare do that.
I think actually, Rob, weren't you the one that coined Declare?
You know what? That time is a flat circle. Yeah, I think that maybe I did. And then Mike came up with a different name that you didn't like. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Wait, no. Did you get that made in like the past 4 days?
Cleric X, I think. Was that Mike?
Wait, I really didn't. I was like, did you get it past in the 4 days, or have you had that since we announced on Big?
Well, it's interesting. This entire time, I've just been spinning this one piece of yarn in my hand, just trying to run a needle so I could sew it on. No, this is all paper. It's all there's the man behind the curtain, but I had to make something in honor of.
Oh, I cannot tell that was paper at all.
Yeah. Be glad that he has done things with Phil's likeness that we don't speak of.
Really?
I'm still in therapy for that.
Could have been much worse.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I think I'm a rung below Derek X when it comes to if Phil knew what I did with his face back in March of 2022.
Oh, we're on the same rung then. Dang, it's a lonely rung.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Okay.
Can you move this?
I did not know.
Okay.
I do not remember what you did with Phil's face, but I'll have to go into the archives.
But okay, yes,
Derek,
I do have kind of
we thank you that Claire, you could stick around for a minute.
I can can stick around. I can stick around for a little
Okay.
bit. I am a little sick,
Yeah.
so I probably
Okay.
should be going to bed soon.
Okay,
We're gonna wrap. We're wrapping up. We're wrapping up. But
Okay,
Derek,
good,
thank you, Derek. Thank you so
Derek.
much.
Thank you,
Yes.
Derek.
Thanks so
It was
much,
so good
Derek.
talking with all of you. Thank you.
Yes.
Oh God.
You know, Claire, we talked a little bit about that final leg in the exit interview. Was there anything from Nashville that you want to highlight?
Let me think. Okay, let me quick tell Derek's favorite story.
Yeah, the memory
from
story.
Iceland, though, that he has bequeathed into me.
Mm-hmm.
So when we go into the water, right, we've known that I have a better memory than Derek has. And we're going every other, and we're memorizing it. And I pop up out of the water at the end. And like, again, I'm like a fish in the water. It's very easy with me. And I'm like chatting with our tour guide. Think of him like, I swear he was identical to Travis in Big Brother. Like this guy was like, yeah, man, I'm in California. What's up? Like, let's do it. And so me and him were just bonding at this point of, talking about how great the water is. He's like, yeah, swimming every day. Like, ha ha. And I was like, okay, cool. We're drinking the water. It's, crystal clear water. Fantastic. And Derek eventually pops up maybe 5 minutes later. And I'm like, okay, I know all my mnemonics here. And we get out of the water and we're in our, scuba suits. And Derek's like nervous. Derek's like, what were the Iceland volcanoes? And so he's like, okay, like I'm so scared. Let me ask Claire. Maybe she doesn't know them too. And so like, it's just fine. Like we don't need to take the test. We can just go in the water. He was like, Claire, like, how do you feel? Do you think you know them? And I was like, yes. Yeah, I got it. Don't talk to me. I have them. It's not an issue at all. And Derek's like, oh, okay, awesome. And then we like flip her over together and they flip over the sheet. And I'm like, I just need to get these done as quick as possible while they're in my head. So I just zoop, 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 zoop. And I'm like, all right, Derek, like I'm expecting the same energy. And I turn, I'm like, all right, what do you got for me? And Derek's like, okay, like here we go. And Derek slowly puts them together and he's looking at them and he's like, I'm like, is that it? Like, do we have it? Are we good? Like, should we get a check? And he's like, wait. Okay. Yeah. Flip two. Yeah, now it's good. I'm like, are you sure? Is this it? And he goes, wait. Let me actually flip him back. Okay, yeah, that's it. But he was very afraid that it was not going to be correct whatsoever. But I do feel like I potentially could have memorized them all. It was only like 15 or something.
Yeah.
So it was like only 7 each, but it was a rough run for us out there.
Your mnemonic devices were really incredible.
Well, thank you. It was hard because you don't know if you have to memorize the entire numbers. We didn't know what the test was going to be like. If it was going to be fill in the blank or matching or an oral exam.
I know this might be in the book, so please let us know if it's this is going to be spoiler territory and you're saving it. But like, do you have a trick to coming up with those mnemonic devices so that you remember them?
I think for me, especially with the numbers and the name, it was just seeing like, okay, the first syllable of each volcano, what's something mentally I'm going to think of when I see that? And then how can I link that somehow to these numbers and come up with a little phrase? The weirder, the better, right? Like you don't want to just do like, if it's B, like blue, you want to think like baboon or something absurd like that. And like, it was useful for the numbers because some of them were current. So like, that was like my dad, like 1963, it was his birthday. So my dad likes to curtsy and certsy. And so on and so forth.
So then when it came to the final leg, though, I know that it was a little different. Mnemonics were sort of out the window. And you talked with me about this in my interview, but you got artistic. You drew, which was something that you took from Penn and Kim and all those podcasts that you were listening to. I mean, was that something that you refined or changed at all throughout the race? Or were you really sticking to like, no, we have to draw every single thing we've seen?
No, we basically were like, let's draw every single thing, write every single thing we can down. They take the clues from you at the very end of the leg, but like as we're driving, I'm going to try to write everything down. I will say some of our drawings, not the best. We did memorize some people's hats, like all the greeters. We would like try to draw them down afterwards, and we would just 100% draw it incorrectly. Like, and then when we were watching the show, we're like, oh, that's what his hat looked like. Like, thank goodness that wasn't, thank goodness it wasn't like the last one where they had to get Napoleon's hat down perfectly. It's like our memory challenge was very hard. But I don't know how much the images would have tripped you up. Like there was sort of only 1 or 2 trick images for each location. So I think we kind of got lucky in that aspect. Because I know like Michelle really was studying them. She was drawing everything down as well. I saw some of her drawings. Like I think we had a similar artistic ability. So I don't know how helpful it would have been for either of us necessarily. And I think Molly and Emily were studying as well. But yeah, I mean, before the end, me and Derek would just test each other. And so we could go like the legs forwards, backwards, what one was like 7, what was after Dom, what was after, so we really knew the order that we did, the pit stops, the greeters, everything. But when you're actually there and we were looking at the keyboard, we would like hit the key and like the pyramids of Giza would pop up and Derek would be like, Petra, that's Petra. I know sand and I know Petra. And that's what that was. I'm like, wait, no, what are we doing here? Or it's like, one of them was a volcano, like an erupting volcano, like Mount Vesuvius. And Derek was like, Iceland. That was Iceland. Derek, when did we see an erupting volcano? And he's like, land of ice and fire is the land of ice and fire. I'm like, no, I don't think that's what it is. So I do think both of us were there doing it. I'm glad it wasn't a roadblock. But when you're in it, your memory, it's easy for it to get shot anytime you're like super anxious or nervous. Like I understand why memorizing the volcanoes was so hard for David and Aubrey. Because for me, like knowing the flags when I did the tightrope, I couldn't remember anything. So when you're in those high pressure, it's easy for everything to get wiped from your mind.
People want to know about the getting around in Nashville. Our great friend Maximus' mom wants to know, were the Nashville Broadway street drunks tough to move out of the way?
Yes, very much so. I'd actually been a Nashville Broadway street drunk a couple months earlier.
Oh, interesting. This was your own Slumdog Millionaire story then. Like, exactly. I know where to go.
So like when we found out it was Nashville, Derek's never been. So I was trying to draw him a map of the city. And I knew like, here's the water and there's some stadiums, there's a bridge and here's Broadway though. I know Broadway. Did not know any of the bar names, of course. Yes, they were very much in the way. And you're carrying these guitar cases that were heavy and everyone's drunk. You have a camera, so people want to be in the shots. It was a rowdy bunch, but I will say a lot of people in Nashville actually did recognize Derek and myself from Big Brother. Actually, I think we were almost recognized every single leg from Big Brother itself, which I think was maybe a hindrance more than a help. They'd like try to jump in front of us. But it was rowdy on Broadway, but I think it was like a fun aspect of the race to like be in all this civilization, especially after Iceland when it was like just grass everywhere.
Yeah. And how surreal it must have been from like Big Brother where there's no human contact with anybody else besides who you're in the house with. And then to be out there like in the world competing on the show. You've really had like 2 very different experiences.
Yes, that's like people on the Amazing Race. A lot of them had never seen it, and so they were asking us like, "Oh, what is it? What is it?" Me and Derek were like, "Well, we're in there for 85 days. You don't have your phone, no TV. It's just you and 15 other people." And when you're describing it, it's really like, yeah, why did we go on that show? Like, why are we? Why did we do that? Because they're like, oh, that doesn't sound fun at all. So yeah, the race, a very different show. I really was like, this will be better maybe for your mental health in the long run. A little bit better for your, you're not stuck in a little room, which is much better.
After everything's done, the confetti falls, the blood falls from Derek's nose. Like,
of course.
What was the process for you for like? I mean, you said you were in Civilization, but like, sort of settling down from this high. Like, did you take a break, just sort of like by yourselves, talk about seclusion, or away from each other, considering you just spent like a whole month together racing?
Well, I think so. Right after the finished, all the teams finished pretty close together, like within 30 minutes, I think. So we were all there and we could go to the hotel. We had an after party with production in the hotel lobby. And I don't know if we slept at all, but we hopped on a plane and we flew back to Virginia Beach, actually. And I think
back to Mount Trashmore.
Back to Mount Trashmore. We drove by and we're like, we go run stairs again. Like, Mount Trashmore doesn't know we won. Like, should we tell him? Like, what's up?
No, you can't spoil him.
No, can't spoil them, which was very hard because my mom really wanted to know how we had done. We were there for a little bit. Then Derek went back home. And then Derek, how long after did we move out here? What did we do?
I don't remember.
No, I don't know either.
Well, I hope Derek told his parents, because I remember back in the opening of Big Brother 23, they told him he couldn't come home until he won.
Well, you can't. You're not allowed to tell anyone.
But they said, Derek, you're here. You must be a winner now.
Well, I think your family knows if you leave or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no elimination station anymore. So people our family kind of had a sense of okay, they went pretty far. But yeah, we had to keep it locked down, which I think was way more hard on them than it was on us. We loved it. We loved keeping the secret. We're like, who knows? You gotta watch. Very fun compared to Big Brother when we got out and they knew more than us.
Yeah, tell us what happened.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, literally. And then I think we took a couple weeks. I'd quit my job before going on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And then we basically moved out here, which was always our plan. So, and me quitting my job was always the plan too. So it just worked out nice.
How do you like the West Coast?
It's good. I like it. It's a good time. Very pleasant, way better weather. All the cliches are true, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jess, anything else that we want to find out from Claire?
Well, I feel like we've gotten the full scope. I feel like I've just watched the DVD with the commentary track.
Yeah.
Very fair.
Well, this was so fun. Claire, thank you for making some time to do this, especially when you're not feeling well. So we really appreciate it. The chat was absolutely loving this the whole way through.
100%.
So I think everybody that checked out this podcast is very appreciative that you and Derek took the time to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having us. I don't really remember you guys doing a Amazing Race deep dive. So
we have not done many.
We try to, and then it never works out. So we're glad it worked out this time.
Yeah, you're in the rarefied air. Now, of course, we have just done a bit of a shallow glance off the pool that was, you talking about your race. So where can people check out the recaps that you and Derek did of this season?
What a great question, Mike. So all of our recaps are posted on YouTube under Derek Xiao. So you can just look it up. I think we have roughly 45 to an hour for every episode. And then the finale is an hour and a half. So they've been a lot of fun. And we're going to put out a couple more talking about basic Q&A or a deeper dive Q&A with people, what we packed, basically all the videos that we wanted that we couldn't find, tips and tricks, strategies, how to use a map, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of our next goal.
Okay. And anything else interesting coming up that you can talk about?
Well, no, not really. A Survivor finale? I don't know.
Who's going to win, Claire?
I think... I've really been talking to a lot of people, and I don't know if they have insider information. I don't think they have insider information.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jesse has it. I think he does.
Yeah. Okay.
But we'll see.
Yeah,
people,
I think that's
I would like Carla. I would like to see it be Carla, but I don't know. I'm nervous.
We'll see. It'll play out tomorrow night. But this was so fun. Thank you again for making the time to do this. We really appreciated it. Jess, anything exciting coming up for you?
Well, I think barring any year-end Amazing Race wrap-ups that we want to do,
yep.
This was my last scheduled podcast for 2022.
Yes, we do. We are planning the year. Yeah, the year in Amazing Race podcast is coming up. I think maybe we'll mention Derek and Claire on that
once or
one.
Twice.
Maybe
it was a great year for the Amazing Race.
Well, I mean, when was the last time we got 2 amazing races in a year? It's very exciting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's coming up. This past week over on Post Show Recaps, we did a year-end wrap-up of The Walking Dead, which is still on. You know, it's the question people ask of Survivor and Amazing Race. Those shows are still on. Yeah, so was The Walking Dead. It just ended.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about everything that happened in the past year and kind of did some superlatives. It was good stuff. And I've got something planned in January on Post Show Recaps that's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay. All right, Mike, what's coming up for you?
Yeah, so as just mentioned, I'm doing a number of things for the 2022 in review. I think the newest one is going to be I'm covering superhero culture. I think that's coming out tomorrow, which was a very fun panel recap. And then on the reality TV side of things, Rob, you and I got together Friday night. We did a 3.5-hour Megabus Survivor podcast. Claire, actually, you'd like this. Rob got AI to write new Survivor twists.
Wow.
Yes, I asked ChatGPT to come up with some incredible Survivor twists.
Well, I saw your Seinfeld play Survivor. I did enjoy that tweet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was look. Me and ChatGPT have been spending a lot of quality time together.
We know who he's going to race with. Should he come onto the Amazing Race?
How do I talk to my wife when she seems like she's upset about something but doesn't want me to ask what she's upset about? Like, this is my like, Derek X has real bromances. My bromance is ChatGPT.
Whoa.
Yeah, so we did that. If you want to get your last gasp in a manner of speaking before the finale happens, of course, I'll be doing Exit Press with that. I think I'm talking to the final 5 all around this time tomorrow night, which will be very exciting. Of course, I had the pleasure of talking with the final 3 teams from the Amazing Race 34, including the lovely Claire and Derek, as well as Emily and Molly, Lewis and Michelle. They were all great. Emily and Molly made me cry in an interview, and they were the rare fighter to do so. Their story is incredible.
Yes.
So check all that out and all the other random odds and ends that I do. An Amazing Read show. There may be a Survivor wrap-up show in there somewhere as well in the next couple of weeks. Everything I put out at a Mike Bloom type.
Okay. And of course, we'll have live coverage of the Survivor finale coming up tomorrow night, 11:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Steven and I will have the know-it-alls right after the finale. No matter what happens, we'll break it all down. And then I will have, with the final 5 exit press on Thursday, Marianne Okech is going to join me for a recap coming up on Thursday. So that'll be really fun to have the Survivor 42 winner talk about whatever happened in the Survivor 43 finale. And then, Claire, are you a White Lotus person?
You know, I've seen season 1, but I have not.
Okay. All right. Everybody's talking about the season 2 finale.
All I will say is, Josh
Wiggler.
You'd have some thoughts about it. There's something involving heights that I think you'd be interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well.
So I talked with Josh Wiggler. And we talked about it on the latest Rob and Josh talk about TV on post show recaps. All right, that's going to do it for us here tonight. Thank you again, Derek and Claire, for joining us. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.